Shalom, Shalum Family. This is your sister, Shaya from Covenant Convos with Shaya and Shay for the Culture. There's a lot of issues going on in America with immigration, and you have these protests going on and all these TikTok videos and people complaining that Black Americans are not out there, Black Americans are not supporting or speaking up for their plight. Seems as though they're not reading the tea leaves or the temperature of Black America. We are delineating and we are thinking about ourselves at this point. At the same time, there's a spiritual awakening of the Yashraliym People, a subset group within the FBA family. We are not only disconnecting ourselves from other groups, but also from the American system of wickedness. Its politics and religious institutions we are no longer invested in. It has been used to garner our energy, prayers, and strength long enough. We are who won the wars of America, innovated it, and made it a superpower. It is us who give legitimacy to its ideals. With all that, we are the only ones that do not benefit from it, and we have had enough. You see, both wings of the American eagle are anti-Black racists. Their unified policy is to uphold white supremacy by keeping FBAs down through direct sabotage, weaponizing their criminal injustice system against us, and redirecting resources to the buffer classes they flood into the country. Republicans have insulted us with their attitude and words, while the Democrats have disrespected us and abused us with their policies. They have both practiced benign neglect as it relates to our concerns and needs. See, Republicans see us as not even being relevant, while the Democrats use us to get legislation passed only to pass those inherent benefits to other groups. For this reason, most of us despise mass immigration into this nation, whether legally or illegally. So let's talk about the top 10 reasons Black Americans have issues with mass immigration into the United States of America. Number 1, these immigrants are coming to our nation illegally. The United States is the #1 country hosting illegal immigrants. When foreign nationals dock our borders, many of them do so illegally and forcefully. We have no idea who they are or where they come from, which poses a risk of harm to both our citizens and our nation as a whole. We have no clue of their mental state or their potential criminal background. There are roughly 11 million illegal immigrants living in our nation based on 2024 data. Many of them are either already in gangs or formed them on our soil. They commit crimes and acts of violence against our citizens. If and when they are caught, they get deported only to return under a new identity. When Black Americans travel to other nations, we do so legally. When we travel abroad, we report to the immigration office with the appropriate documentation to answer their questions. They take our picture so that they know who is in their country and how to keep track of us. We don't overstay our visas, and if we do, we will be prosecuted and or sent home. In many countries, United States citizens with criminal history, especially those of a violent nature, are not permitted to travel there. We, on an aggregate, do not commit crimes, especially violent ones, in foreign nations. Number 2, they come to stay. There are 37 million legal immigrants and over 11 million illegal immigrants in the United States of America, according to 2022 data. Countless cities where Black Americans have lived for generations have been gentrified with these immigrants of both legal and illegal status, to the point those Black Americans that remain don't even recognize their own communities anymore. The entire culture of the cities are changed, and before long, natives feel and are treated like strangers in their own homeland. When Black Americans travel to other nations, we typically go to visit and we come home. There are roughly 655,000 Black Americans living abroad. This proves that we do not go and change the entire demographics of other nations. We do not move in such numbers that it causes inflation or economical harm to the natural citizens of said nations. We do not take over neighborhoods and entire cities, schools and jobs, and cause the natives to feel uncomfortable and unwelcome in their own communities. Number 3, they come poor and needy. Foreign nationals come to the United States by the millions and suck resources away from our tax-paying citizens, our disabled and elderly populations, which reduce the amount of funds and services we can receive from programs we and our families have paid into for decades. Any grants for minorities, people of color, and underserved communities, though they were not the ones that fought for them, they received, including civil rights, affirmative action, DEI, and the right to vote. Black Americans fought for those things, yet we are the last to benefit from them. This is because most of these immigrants are able to dual benefit. They are classified as white, but enjoy the benefit of minority status as people of color. They are receiving these minority resources above and beyond that of the Black Americans that fought for them in the first place. They fought for nothing, yet receive greater portions of everything. Many social service programs are depleted by these immigrants before Black Americans are even aware that such programs and funding are available. This is because, unlike Black Americans, these immigrants have special offices that inform them of these programs and assist them in filling out applications for them. Our politicians make sure these people have resource centers to educate them on these matters. Too many of them do not even speak the language of the nation, but our politicians go so far as to make sure that applications are in multiple languages for their convenience. This is done purposefully to undermine any potential for advancement of the Black American community. We don't go to other nations poor and begging for someone to support us. No, we don't go if we can't afford to support ourselves comfortably. They have no social services for us to enjoy, reducing resources available to the natives because they have not fought for or built anything of worth in their homelands. No one has put us up in shelters. No food stamps or housing vouchers are provided to us. No foreign government prioritizes Black American travelers over their own people by giving us money for school, medical services, businesses, housing, or transportation. We are on our own there. Number 4, they are isolationists and are of no benefit to Black Americans at all. When people come to the United States of America from other nations, they purposefully avoid Black Americans. Oftentimes, we don't even know where they are living for a while. They don't engage with us. They stay to themselves. It's usually their children that come around us and end up pretending to be us to infiltrate our culture and institutions, such as rap, dance, movies, HBCUs, and anything else they can get their hands on. When we go to other nations, we engage with the locals, often boosting their economy by patronizing their businesses and services. We don't avoid the natives and act as if they are lepers to be avoided at all costs. Number 5, they are anti-Black Americans.
African Americans, we've never gotten along. Not today, not yesterday, not 20 years ago, not 100 years. We've never gotten along. We don't get along. All I'm saying is that stay in your lane and I stay in my own lane. I don't have any interest or desire to have that kind of relationship that I know will never be. There is no need for me to pretend to like you. You don't like me, and I with my full chest. I don't like you either. So this one that we're supposed to come together, don't ask me to come and join you to march down the street for whatever cause it is you're marching. I'm not coming to march anywhere with you.
When immigrants come to the United States of America, they practice anti-Black American racism and cozy up as best they can with the folks, adopting all negative stereotypes about Black Americans.
Black people makes you think that Mexicans are gonna come running to for help. What for? Y'all Black people can't even help yourselves. That's wild. Mexican people are hardworking people. Come on now. Y'all don't even trust each other. What makes you think that a Mexican will trust you if you don't even trust your brother?
They have racial slurs for us. They call us lazy, entitled, and spoiled. They disregard centuries of suffering and fighting for our rights and standing up against injustices. They align themselves with white supremacy against us and our causes. Foreign nationals tend to allow themselves to be used as tools to harm Black Americans, weakening our arguments for reparations and other much-needed resources due to us. We do not practice racism against people in their own homeland. We are just happy to be there and see different people and cultures that we have never had the opportunity to enjoy before. We understand we are a foreigner and we act accordingly. We are rather new to traveling abroad for the most part and are just excited to see something other than the United States of America. We have been skeptical of traveling abroad most of our lives due to Western propaganda. Other than for business or being in the military, Black Americans have only begun to travel abroad over the past 10, 20 years. Some are just going to their first international destinations within the past 5 years. We do not want to fall into any of the problems we have been leery of, because those are the things that kept us from traveling abroad for so long.
It was a small little town in North Carolina that passed reparations for whoever's over there. I'm sure they'll try to do something out here in California. I think they already actually got a little board going that they're going to start looking into it. So
yeah, and that's what we, the Raza, need to step up, protest, and I'm talking major, and turn around and tell them, no, nobody gave reparations until the Native Americans and the Mexicans get ours first. It's not fair, dog. How are you going to give a bunch of money to a specific group, dog? This is the United States, a melting pot. How are you going to give it to a specific group?
Because, right?
Number 6, they involve themselves in our politics with no understanding of our society or national culture. When people come to the United States, they create a voting bloc with their communities, fighting only for themselves, never for us. They vote their interests, or so they think they do, and care nothing of Black American interests, unless it's to harm us in some political, social, and economical way. They lobby politicians to gain advantages over us. Those that look like us pretend to be Black Americans and join our caucuses and civil rights organizations, never to help us, but to purposefully undermine us in every way. They hold positions in the Congressional Black Caucus and NAACP to the benefit of their communities, plus build their own ethnic caucuses such as CARICOM for the Caribbeans, the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, and the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus to get private resources not available to Black Americans. That's what we call double dipping. We do not get into the politics of other nations we are a guest in, whether visiting or a foreign resident. We would never fight to become a politician and undermine the most vulnerable of that nation. We don't hold offices in the governments of other nations unless it is as a diplomat for the United States, and there are few of those. So you tell me, how are Black Americans supposed to advance in this country when our own civil rights organizations and congressional leaders are fighting to spearhead the advancement of these other groups? Meanwhile, these other groups have their own congressional caucuses and civil rights organizations fighting exclusively for them. You don't see them fighting for anything as it relates to Black Americans. Nothing at all. But the Congressional Black Caucus is, even till this very day, out there fighting for illegal immigration. Jesse Jackson and his Rainbow Coalition fighting for illegal immigration when they know that this harms the Black community, but they turn a blind eye to it and pretend as if none of this stuff affects us. We're losing jobs. We're losing access to good and proper education. We're losing everything. And these people are gaining everything. This is why they're fighting tooth and nail, assaulting police officers and everything else to stay in this country. Because they have the support of the Democrat Party and Black politicians that are supposed to be fighting for the Black community, the Black American community, the foundational Black American community. Instead, they're out here fighting for Latinos. They're out here fighting for Asians. They're out here fighting for Caribbeans. This is ridiculous. And of course, we have a problem with this because we don't go to anybody else's community and do this. We don't go to Uganda and take completely over their country. We don't go to Ghana and take completely over their politics. But this is exactly what these other groups have come to America to do, to undermine foundational Black Americans. And it's time that it stops. 7, they come to further exploit the Black American community with the take and never give back strategy and attitude. Black Americans do not move to any nation in such high numbers as to gentrify the natives out of their own neighborhoods. We do not flood the neighborhoods of poor people with our businesses. We do not engage in the act of buying up all the housing in their communities with taxpayer funds given to us by their government. We do not exploit anyone becoming rich off of their oppression and abject poverty year after year. We do not enjoy tax-free status while making millions, leaving the impoverished to pay the taxes while we send our money back to the United States. This is exactly what these immigrants do. They do not so much as throw a cookout for the communities they grow increasingly wealthy in. Not even anything as small as a book bag giveaway, holiday turkey, or a bike raffle do they offer in the neighborhoods where they have set up shop. Just take, never giving anything at all back to the people they make millions from.
And one thing only that African people care about, including me myself, I come to your country, I don't care where it is, I am here to make money. That's just the sad reality. But it is the reality. Me as myself, when I went to Nairobi, when I lived in Kenya, I went to take. When I went to South Africa, I went to take. When I went to Dubai, I went to take. I did not go to build the countries, because in my country where I come from, I am poor, and I left my country because there is nothing for me to do. I didn't see any ways of getting rich in my country, so I decided to come to other countries to do something for myself. So unfortunately, I can't tell my African American brothers and sisters that when African people come to America, expect them to build with you. No, we're here to take. We are here to take. The American government, like right now, it's welcoming immigrants like nobody's business. Every African person who is in a dire situation or who sees there's an opportunity for me to get a green card, they would do whatever it takes to come to America, knowing very well that the government right now is prioritizing foreigners instead of its own people, which is not my fault. My own business is to come there and grab whatever I can. And if your government is supporting me to take as much as I can, who am I to refuse? Who doesn't want to live in America? So don't be surprised when you see these African men or African women get with older men or older women just to get the green card. That is what we do because we are in a dire situation in our countries. So we are running away to come to your country so we can have a better life, because I mean, who does not know about the American dream? And then if we come and then Joe Biden pampers us and forgets that he has Democrats to take care of, it's none of our business. That's the reality. That's the reality. When we come there, don't expect us to build America for who? You have a lot we are here to take. That's the truth. And I know I might sound arrogant, but I'm not a person who sugarcoats the truth. So when we come to your countries, just know we are not here to have mercy on you. We are here to take.
We would never do that to any impoverished people because we know what that feels like. I mean, take for example, the debacle of the Essence Fest, which was a staple in the Black American community for decades. You see, with all the intelligent Black women that we have, why was there ever even a Jamaican or some other form of Black immigrant running it in the first place for 19 years? No shade to her, because I think she did a great job by reflecting and showcasing our culture and sticking to the code. But having said that, why was she there in the first place? There's millions of Black Americans, intelligent, beautiful sisters, creative, talented, and yet, for some reason, Black Americans don't seem to understand. When these other people come here, they open up a business and they only hire their people. We have this unison, want to include everybody, want to be liked by everybody kind of illness. We need to do the same thing they're doing. They hire their own people to run their companies. and to work for them. And we need to be hiring our own people. It's not like we have a lack of talent, but you have this Kenyan lady as the CEO who has said herself that she's a descendant of slave traders. Her family is in part, in many degree, responsible for how our people were treated, walked across hundreds of miles of hot, deserted African soil, loaded onto ships, and sailed all the way around the world. And yet somehow she ends up as the CEO of a Black American company, and we think she's gonna stick to the code? Absolutely not. It shouldn't be happening. They want our leftovers. I was watching a video where a young woman, somebody told her, well, why didn't y'all just start your own, magazine or festival? And she said, well, why would we do that when you already have one? We bought yours. And she said, that would be like me buying a house and sleeping outside. And to her, no. That would be like having the ability to build your own house and then buying mine used. You see, they want our leftovers because Black Americans understand something. You are the children of David. You are the descendants of royalty. And even your hand-me-downs, decades-old hand-me-downs, is better than what these people can come up on their own fresh. Everything we got it out the mud. See, we had a handcrafted culture that was given to us by the Most High Yah himself. He carved it out, gave us the guidelines of everything himself. We didn't appreciate it, and we spoiled it and shared it with the world. We sold parts of our culture away, where we taught these savages our Hebrew customs. And to this day, we literally can't retain anything because we continue to open the door and spread everything out for all to see, and these vultures come and peck it away until there's absolutely nothing left. This is the reason why the United States brings these type of people over here. I've told y'all before, not every African is our people. We are scattered into all nations of the earth, true indeed. But all these people are not our people. You see how they have no mercy, no compassion, no empathy. They literally say it themselves. When are we gonna get it? We are all we got. And with the help of the Most High Yah, we need to pull together and start our own stuff and make sure we keep it. We are the culture. We are the financial support and backing for every one of these companies. Nobody knew about Michael Kors until Black people started talking about it. This is what we've got to do. Otherwise, we might as well continue to be slaves to these people, because that's exactly what we are. We create, they benefit. Then they have the audacity to disrespect us and tell us they did this and they did that. This is diabolical. And then we have Black Americans that actually co-sign this foolishness and defend these people. And they should be treated just like these people, as tethers. I don't really like to use that term, but that's exactly what these people are. They attach themselves to our culture. They attach themselves to our institutions and infrastructures that we create for ourselves, the little bit that we have. And then they'll come in and swoop it and then turn it into what it is they want after it already has a fan base, after it already has a funneling of money into it. We've got to stop. We've got to stop. Look at these people. They're bragging and boasting about what they are taking from us.
Why is there a Jollof versus Jambalaya competition at Essence Fest?
Because this is the owner of Essence Fest. And as you can see, he was born in Liberia. That's not Mississippi. That's a country in Africa. Okay? Again, this is the CEO of Essence Fest. And unfortunately, she is not from Delaware. She is from Kenya, which is also a country in East Africa.
Why are there African and Caribbean vendors at Essence Fest?
Because it was originally created by you guys. You know, you created a space for yourself, but then you sold it. You gave it away. sold it to African people. So now you can't pick and choose who can come into that space because it's no longer yours. You sold it. That's kind of how the law of ownership works. And one thing about Africans, they're going to bring a Caribbean in every time they can because we cousins, we locked in. So of course we going to be there.
If Caribbeans and Africans want to have an event that's as big as Essence Fest, they can go create it.
Now, why exactly would we do that when you lot have already created the space and sold it for us to use? That's kind of like buying a house and choosing to sleep outside. Don't make no sense.
And for the Black Americans that have an issue with other Black Americans having pride in being Black American, where is your racial self-esteem at? Why is it so low? What the hell is going on?
I don't think it's them with the self-esteem issue. I think it's you. Just stay at home. Anyway, shout out to all the African Americans that just with everybody. Everybody with you niggas too. Yeah, let us be outside. Let us.
Number 8. They are used as a buffer class to harm Black Americans and keep us from advancing up the social economical ladder.
So like South Asian individuals were brought to this country to prove to other immigrants, or not even to other immigrants, also specifically that Black people weren't good enough and that we were because of how well we were doing. So we're like, right, when we talk about systems and understanding that, right, like during the civil rights movement, we were brought here to show other people that this is how you should be and this is good. And so then we kept performing in that way. And right, that's embodied in us. That's also epigenetics. It's in it becomes part of our genetic DNA and how we move.
Our nervous system, like it's wired to be on and performing all the time.
We don't move to other nations, get hired at local businesses, and diligently manufacture ways to get the natives fired so we can get more Black Americans hired there. That's what immigrants, especially Latinos, have been doing to Black Americans for decades.
Because who are working in my company. I'm a Black man. I own a company. I hire a Latino. The Latino comes back and complain about the African Americans because the Latino thinks because I'm African, I don't have any relationship with the African American. The Latino comes to me and tell me that you are an immigrant. I'm an immigrant. That African American cannot work. I have Jose, I have Gonzalez, my brothers who know how to work very well. You need to fire the African Americans and I will bring a lot of hardworking Latinos who work for your company.
They have now gotten so comfortable here that they are even doing it to white Americans. All the businesses in my city have been taken over by immigrants.
I say we as an Asian, like we heard about America and we learned that to survive in this country, we needed to align ourselves with whiteness and not blackness because we didn't want to catch that smoke, essentially. So we aligned ourselves with whiteness. And so proximity to whiteness keeps us, quote unquote, safer. But in doing that, they can be like, model minority, if the Asians can do it, why can't you do it? And so we created a wedge as people of color against other people of color.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing. Yeah, it's a whole thing. And then like the riots in LA, the wedge theory came in crazy because professionals from Asia came, but they're not allowed to be doctors here. But they can get a loan because they're proximity to whiteness. But they can only get a loan in Black neighborhoods.
Right.
Where Black people could not get loans. And so there's that automatic tension.
Black Americans are expected to learn Spanish or Mandarin to even apply for a job.
Were you told point blank that you couldn't have the job because you couldn't speak Spanish?
Yes. His words, well, not directly, but most of his words were that he couldn't place us because we wouldn't be able to communicate with the other employees.
All of whom were
Spanish. And I said, you don't need to speak or communicate with the other employees because you're on the floor by yourself. He said, but all the supervisors spoke Spanish too, and we needed to communicate with them. I feel like if I want to learn Spanish to be able to compete with them, then I think I should be able to do that on my own. I don't think you and no one else should be able to tell me that I have to have Spanish. Not in my country.
Yeah, this is America, they forget. This is not Castro's Cuba.
Now, if
I don't mind them. I think they should come over and learn our language. And then if they do have the both languages, that's better for them in the job market. Don't tell us we have to speak your language in order to keep a job here in America. That doesn't.
Spanish people have made it so difficult for one like me to get a job.
Then because immigrants will work for way less money, Black Americans that are lucky enough to get a job are expected to work hard for unlivable wages. This This is why many Black Americans are the working poor, living in shelters, cars, and on the streets while working 40+ hours a week. Immigrants will live 30 people in a 3-bedroom house or apartment, which affords them to pay higher rents, causing the housing cost to skyrocket. That's not American culture. We do not like to be crowded. We like our own spaces. Not to mention, most of the real estate is owned by immigrants, and they offer lower rents to their own communities while refusing to rent to Black Americans or charging us way more than their own people. Number 9, they steal and lay claim to Black American cultural inventions. Black Americans do not steal the cultural inventions of others and claim to have originated. We never enter the cultural arts of other groups, then claim it as our own. Everyone does that to us, from hip-hop to breakdancing and everything in between. Others come here pretending to be Black American for decades as they build wealth off our cultural inventions. Then once they've made millions, come out saying, I'm not Black, I'm this or I'm that, paying homage to their lineage or nationalities. What's offensive about that is they're not enriching themselves with their own cultural arts, but are doing so with ours. Recent examples are Busta Rhymes, KRS-One, Uncle Luke, Nicki Minaj.
You cannot eliminate the Latinos' contribution to hip-hop. When you talk about breakdancing, we talk about rock steady and crazy legs. When you talk about graffiti, like it's every element of hip-hop. It was 50-50, bro.
The U.S. ain't got no culture. They shit is all our shit. A bunch of our shit is what makes the U.S. whatever you want to call it. We still don't know what that culture is for the U.S., but it's a mix-up of all of our cultures. In the urban community, you know, the Latino and the West Indian has the greatest influence, and we've always had, and we'll always will, and it's just been that way.
They dress like us, but say we have no culture, while they're actively participating in our culture.
But a lot of immigrants come to America with hate for the foundational Black Americans who build America, and this really burns me up. But for some of the Black immigrants that come over here with disdain for Black Americans in their hearts, it's really sickening. I expect this from other groups of immigrants coming over. But come on now, y'all supposed to be Black, y'all supposed to be on code. Cause let's be clear, it's the tether class of people doing this. And it's better for y'all because y'all supposed to be Black, y'all supposed to know better than this. The white power structure, truth be told, don't give a damn where you from. Africa, Haiti, Jamaica, because y'all still Black to them. And I'm for the upliftment of Black people no matter where you from. For me, I won't allow negative rhetoric to be talked about foundational Black American culture, because we got culture. Because truth be told, no immigrant would even be in America if it wasn't for Black Americans fighting back in the 60s with the civil rights, etc. Especially not no Black immigrants fast. When a lot of Black immigrants come over with white supremacist talking points. Oh, Black Americans is lazy, stay away from them Black Americans. Why don't y'all pull yourself up by your bootstraps? Oh, Black Americans is always focused on racism and the white man. You damn right, we fight racism. Always have, always will. A good deal of y'all tether immigrants that use these talking points never stay in your homeland and fight the real oppressor to make y'all homeland better. Y'all flee and profit off of what FBAs and our ancestors single-handedly built.
God forbid we touch the cultures of others. They make a big issue out of it. There are so many examples of others having something to say when even one Black American gives their liquor a Caribbean name or brushes past something exclusive to their nationality.
Brand new rum brand, and it's called Juve. And a lot of the Caribbean community, most notably Nicki Minaj, took issue with the name of this brand new rum.
But yet, they can make a name for themselves off of Black American culture and feel entitled to do so. We don't do that. One, because we don't need to. We are the most creative and inventive people on the planet. We get bored with things rather quickly and move on to create something new and fresh. Often we lose a taste for our own creations once we see others copying us. Examples are country music, breakdancing, and our style of dress, which we change often. This usually leads to others claiming our leftovers as their own. Number 10, they cosplay Black Americans to undermine the few opportunities we had. When Black Americans visit or move abroad, we maintain our identities at all times. We're always Black American, no matter where we go. We don't cosplay other communities. We wear our own clothes unless we are an invited guest at an African event or ceremony. We don't fake the accents of other people to deceive them into believing we are of their lineage or a part of their communities. We don't go to other nations and become an actor or actress there to play their historical figures. If we play the role of an African, Haitian, Jamaican, or Latino, it is for an American production company or film house. Others come here and play Harriet Tubman, Miles Davis, and anyone else for American film producers, taking the few opportunities available to Black Americans in the drama industry. It's disrespectful and has led us to now gatekeep our culture from everyone. We offer no cookout invitations because others come and observe what we do. Next thing we know, they have monetized it without giving the slightest credit to the originators. We are repulsed by that and not taking it anymore. We're standing for ourselves. We're standing on our lineage. We're doing our own thing, and we're not fighting for anybody else. We're fighting for Black Americans. We're advancing Black Americans. Any institutions we start will be for Black Americans. Anything that we do will be for Black Americans. Anything that we invent will be for Black Americans. And whoever has a problem with that, including any Black American that's off code, that's their problem. The scripture warns us in Ecclesiasticus, the 12th chapter. It says, "Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou, at the last, remember my words, and be pricked therewith." So you see, Yashraliym, we can't trust anybody. We're all we got, and we got to watch those in our own community carefully, because a lot of them have some sort of affection for these people more so than they have for their own people. We can't allow anybody else to come into our community. We can't allow anybody else to be invited into our cultural practices, inventions, or anything, because they don't come to be an invited guest. They don't recognize or respect the fact that they are an invited guest. They are coming to take. Just like that African said, they are coming to take, and they don't care how they harm us. They don't care how they disparage us. They will take everything from us and then turn around and mock us to scorn. So tell me what you think about this video. Like, share, subscribe, and I hope you all have a beautiful day. Shalom.